1 second left. He points at the center of the cage. No defense, no fear, just violence waiting to happen. And in that moment, he changes everything. But how does a kid from Hawaii end up here, ready to risk it all for nothing? Max Holloway. Chapter 1. The boy nobody expected. Before the sold-out arenas, before the championship belts, before millions of fans screamed his name, there was just a kid growing up in Waianae, Hawaii. And life was brutal. Violence wasn't something Max watched. It was something he lived around. His father struggled with addiction. His mother was forced to raise the family under constant pressure. Money was scarce. Opportunities were even scarcer. For many kids, that environment became a prison. For Max, it became fuel. Every setback hardened him. Every struggle taught him something. Keep moving, keep fighting, never complain, never quit. While other teenagers dreamed about becoming famous, Max found an escape inside combat sports. Not because he wanted attention, because fighting gave him control. For the first time in his life, effort produced results. Pain had purpose. And soon, that mentality would carry him somewhere nobody expected. But the journey to greatness wasn't going to be a fairy tale, because the first major lesson of his career came wrapped in humiliation. Chapter 2. Learning through failure. The UFC arrived fast. Too fast. Most fighters spend years preparing for the biggest stage. Max was barely old enough to buy a drink. Suddenly, he was standing across from elite killers. Then came the harsh reality. Conor McGregor, a rising superstar, a future global phenomenon. And Max lost. The defeat hurt, but something strange happened. It didn't break him. It improved him. While others obsessed over wins and losses, Max became obsessed with growth. Every defeat became information. Every mistake became a lesson. His confidence wasn't built on being unbeatable. It was built on knowing he'd survive anything. And that mentality slowly transformed him into one of the most dangerous fighters in the world. Fight after fight, win after win, the streak kept growing. The featherweight division started running out of answers. But waiting at the top was a champion many considered untouchable. And this fight would change everything. Chapter 3. The King of Featherweight. Jose Aldo wasn't just a champion, he was the champion. For years he ruled featherweight with fear. Legends fell before him, contenders disappeared. The throne belonged to Aldo. Then Max Holloway arrived, not with arrogance, not with trash talk, with pressure, relentless pressure, the kind that slowly suffocates opponents. Aldo expected another challenger. Instead, they met a hurricane. When the fight ended, the division had a new king. And when they fought again, the result was the same. Max wasn't just champion, he was becoming an icon. The winning streak stretched further, the confidence grew, the fans fell in love with his style. But hidden behind the success was a problem nobody could explain, a problem that would nearly derail everything. Chapter 4. The Mystery. At the peak of his powers, something felt wrong. Interviews became strange, his speech sounded different. Fans noticed, media noticed, even fellow fighters noticed. Then came the terrifying moment. A scheduled fight suddenly collapsed. Doctors became involved. Questions spread everywhere. Was it a concussion? A neurological issue? Something worse? Nobody seemed to know. And for the first time in years, Max Holloway looked vulnerable. Not inside the cage, outside of it. The fighter who survived wars suddenly found himself battling uncertainty, and uncertainty is often scarier than any opponent. Many wondered if his best days were over. Many believed the decline had begun. What happened next shocked everyone. Chapter 5: The Greatest Performance. Instead of fading away, Max evolved. Then came the fight against Calvin Kattar, a fight that looked almost impossible. Max wasn't just winning, he was putting on a masterclass. Talking to commentators while fighting, dodging punches without looking, landing combinations from impossible angles. The confidence was unreal, the skill level looked supernatural. It felt less like a fight and more like a statement, a message to everyone who doubted him. You thought I was finished? You were wrong. And if this story is inspiring you so far, that's exactly why fighters like Max continue to captivate millions. Their greatest battles aren't against opponents, they're against the moments that try to convince them to quit. But even that masterpiece wasn't the end of the story, because one final moment would cement his legacy forever. Chapter 6: Point to the Ground. Justin Gaethje, one of the most violent fighters the sport has ever seen, a man built for chaos. Most fighters survive Gaethje, very few choose to trade with him willingly. Max Holloway did. The fight was already unforgettable. Blood, damage, momentum swings, pure violence. Then came the final seconds, the moment that will live forever. Max pointed to the center of the cage. No running, no playing it safe, no protecting the lead, just courage. Two warriors standing in front of each other, one last exchange, one last gamble. One punch landed clean. Gaethje fell. History was made. In an era obsessed with playing it safe, Max Holloway chose risk, and that decision transformed a victory into a legend. Chapter 7: Blessed. Most champions are remembered for belts. Some are remembered for records. Max Holloway is remembered for something rarer: heart. He never built his reputation through controversy. He never needed scandals. He never needed shortcuts. Fans connected with him because he represented something authentic. The kid from Hawaii who refused to surrender. The champion who never stopped moving forward. The warrior who kept smiling through pain. And maybe that's why his story resonates so deeply. Because beneath the titles and highlights, Max Holloway reminds people of a simple truth. Life doesn't care where you started. It doesn't care how many times you've been knocked down. The only question that matters is whether you're willing to stand up again. And few fighters in history have answered that question more convincingly than Max Holloway.